Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you joined today for this video. So today's video is a little bit different. I've never done this sort of a video, and it was recently when I did a video with my sister is when I realized that I gave her all of these brushes to work with, and even though she had all of these brushes, the way she was using was completely wrong. And I've noticed this a lot of times with both my sister and my mom. Like, I would just be like, well, actually it's me who does their makeup 99% of the time, and that 1% of the time when I'm like, okay, these are the brushes, here are your products, use it, do your makeup, I've always seen them using the makeup brushes in an incorrect way, and that always makes the foundation look cakey. Or my sister, like, she applies foundation, but the way she blends it looks like she has nothing on her skin. Like, it makes it look like she has nothing on her skin. And that's what I was thinking. Like, there are so many videos here on YouTube showing makeup brushes, cheap makeup brushes, affordable makeup brushes, but it's very rare that people talk about how to use these makeup brushes the correct way. So I thought of making a video on this topic, and I also asked you guys on Snapchat if you guys would like to see it or not, and most of you said yes. So here I am making a video on this topic today. So before I jump on to the video, I'll just quickly mention the products I'm going to use. So for foundation, I'm going to use Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. Now I know this foundation is not, like, the shade of this foundation is not my exact match. The reason why I want to use this particular foundation is because it's quite easy to work with liquidy foundations, and the foundations which have sheer to low coverage, it's easy, trust me, it's very easy. But when it comes to foundations like this, which have more thicker consistency and whose coverage is almost medium to full, the application matters the most. Your makeup can look amazing or it can look horrible depending on how you apply it. So even though this shade is a tad bit lighter on me, actually it is, I don't know, like, I've not used it. Maybe it's going to suit me right now because I've gotten rid of my facial tan, so it might suit me right now, but this is the foundation I'm going to use. But let me tell you, this might not be the correct match for me. And for concealer, I was planning to use my Fit Me concealer, but then again, this is very liquidy, very easy to work with. So I thought of using this concealer. Now this is NYX Gotcha Cover Total Concealer, waterproof. And now I have seen many people not liking cream concealers or cream products for that matter because it's not easy to work with, and that's why I chose this. This is the only creamy concealer which I like, and I thought of using this one today. Alright, so I've zoomed you guys in, and I think you guys can see things better now. And on my face, I have moisturized my face, and I've used Lakme's Blur Perfect Primer, and I only have my eyebrows on. So now that I've placed my foundation on both the sides of my face, I want to show you how I like using the brush, or according to me the correct way to use this brush. So I like to go in very quick motion. Like, I like to go downwards with this brush in a very quick motion. So for example, I'll just show you guys here. Can you see I'm very quick with how I'm using this brush, and I'm also holding the brush over here. I'm not holding the brush here, because if you do that, it's kind of difficult to make quick motions with the brush. Now on this side, I'll show you guys what really happens when you're holding your makeup brush very far away from the bristle. So let's suppose I'm holding it over here. Now I'm going to try. This is literally how my mom and my sister blend their foundation with this brush. Now I understand what they are doing it wrong. So as you can see, it's difficult to put enough pressure, and it's not blending properly. It's leaving these brush marks. I hope you can see it. So, and I also cannot be very quick with my foundation. My foundation is already setting onto my face. I cannot blend it very quickly. Even though I'm trying to make quick moves, my foundation is still looking patchy over here. So now that this brush is done, I'm quickly going to show you how to use this brush as well. It's a very similar brush. There's not much of a difference. But with this, instead of going in downward motion, you have to buff your foundation. That's why it is called as a buffing brush. But again, very similar technique. You always want to hold this brush very close to the bristles and go in fast circular motions almost with your buffing brush, and buff your foundation really well. Now how I have seen many people using this brush is going in a downward motion. Now you can go in a downward motion, that works as well, but it just looks like your foundation is sitting on top of your skin. The reason why you want to use a buffing motion is because when you buff your foundation into your skin, it does not look like you have a layer of foundation into your skin, but the foundation almost looks just absorbed into your skin, if that makes sense. And one more thing before I move on to the other brush is, when you are using this buffing brush in a buffing motion, always go in close circular motions. I have seen many people using it like in a very large, like covering a very large area, and you can do that, but as you can see, when you're doing that, your skin is kind of being tugged and pulled. But when you go in very circular, very short circular motions, and when you're covering a small area once at a time, it does not happen that way, and your foundations blend very beautifully. Now before I move on to my concealer, I also want to show you guys how to use Beauty Blender correctly. I know it's like Beauty Blender correctly, I know you cannot go wrong with this, but I have seen my sister and my mom using this wrong way, so I just want to show you guys. So with my Beauty Blender, I'm going to show you on my forehead and over here. It's very essential, it's very crucial how you use your Beauty Blender around your nose. Now whenever I'm using my Beauty Blender to apply my foundation, and when I reach my forehead, I always make sure that I'm not dotting my foundation. Instead, I like picking up the foundation on my Beauty Blender. I know it's like, what difference does it make? But it does make a difference. On your forehead, especially if you have tan going around on your forehead, you don't want to apply lot of foundation. I mean, I know this is going to look ashy right now because the foundation is not my color, but even when the foundation is my color, when I apply a lot of foundation on my forehead, it does look ashy and it just looks like a mask. Again, when you're using a blender, as I've already talked about it, always go with enough pressure. I feel like a lot of people don't do that. They just use it very lightly, they don't put enough pressure. And how is this going to push your product into your skin if you're not using enough pressure, right? Like, you have to put a little bit of pressure, and since it is so soft, it's not going to harm your skin. So be generous with the pressure you're applying with a sponge. Trust me, you will get a better finish. Dabbing it on my hand before I go on to my nose, on the sides of my nose. So what I like to do is, with this side, the rounded side, I like to push the product around my nose like so. Now here you want to be a little bit slow because this is a more tricky part, and take your time over here. You can be slow here. You don't have to be like, you know, be slow. And after placing the product, you can see it's not settling at all. It's not settling at all, but it can after a while. So what I like doing is, after doing this step, I go with the pointy or the tip of my sponge, and I almost just work this on the corners of my nose, just to make sure that if at all there has been any excess product, the tip of my sponge is just going to pick it up and it's not going to look cakey over time, which happens a lot if you notice. Let me show you what happens when you directly put product around your nose. I mean, if your skin can handle it, you can do it, but the skin around my nose just cannot handle this sort of application. And now let me drag the foundation like this. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can make it out or not, but on this side I don't see any excess foundation settling around the corners of my nose, but on this side I can see it, and trust me, with time this is going to look more cakey. So this is again something I wanted to talk about. With cream product, I take it on my finger, warm it up between like this. I just rub it on the back of my hand and warm it up, and then I start applying it like that. That's how much you need with very thick full coverage kind of concealers. But same technique with the sponge. All you want to do is hold it very close and go in very short motions. You don't want to cover a very large area. Like for example, you don't want to place your brush once here and then here. Always go very close to one another, very close strokes, if that makes sense. But before I start powdering my face, I also want to show you guys how to use cream contour product and how to use a brush with it properly. Alright, so for your cream contour, you can use anything of your choice. I'm using Pack Take Cover Concealer Crayon. If you don't have a concealer, like a crayon type of a cream contour product, what you can do is you can go to your palette, the palette in which you have your cream contour. You can use a brush like this, like a flat brush, and you can place your cream contour properly on the areas where you want to apply. And let's talk about how you should be blending your cream contour, because placing, let's be honest, is very easy. So I'm first going to just apply my cream contour. The brush, or the kind of brush I like using, is something which is long and which is dense. Now let's suppose you are going to use this brush for blending your cream contour. Of course you can blend it out because it is dense. This brush is dense as well. This sort of a brush is always going to blend it above and below the area where you have placed it. And with cream contour, trust me, if you're not blending it properly, it's not going to look good. It has to be blended in the area where you have placed it. So I wouldn't recommend this sort of a brush. Now another brush, if you don't have this sort of a brush, is you can use this brush. Now this is also dense, but this is more tapered and precise, so you can definitely blend your cream contour with this. So be very close in holding your brush and go in very quick motion. The more you allow your cream contour to sit on your skin, the difficult it is going to blend that out. Faster you are with blending, the quicker you are going with your brush, the easier it is going to be to blend that out. So as you can see, it was extremely easy to blend it out. It might look extreme right now because my foundation is lighter than my skin tone and the cream contour is very dark because of the contrast, but trust me, it's going to look fine once everything is done. And if your foundation is of your color, it's not going to look this harsh. But it's about the blending. I'm talking about the blendability, and it has blended properly. On this side, let me show you what kind of a difference it is going to make if you do not hold or do not put a lot of pressure. So let's say I'm holding my brush over here. Now as you can see, it's extremely difficult to move my brush if I'm holding it somewhere here. I cannot move my brush if I'm not holding it very close. So, and I'm also pulling and tugging at my skin, so it's not going to be easy at all. You have to just be here doing this, and it's never going to look flawless. Alright, so that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys can see the difference. My cream contour is not blended because of the way I was using my brush. This side it looks flawless. This side my skin looks more natural because of the technique of using my brush. This side it looks extremely heavy. And yeah, I have not covered using powder products, like I've not covered blush, contour, bronzers and stuff, because I think this video is going to be extremely long already. If you guys want a separate video on those, let me know in the comment section below. And I hope this was helpful. Always make sure the key to achieving a flawless finish with your brush is holding it properly, applying enough pressure, and always being very quick with the way you're blending your products out. And yeah, definitely let me know if you want a powder product video of this sort or not. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.